that secretly when I started farming 30 some odd years ago, there was a part of me that was like, well, that'd be cool one day to be able to win that award.
Today and Across the Fence, it's a dream come true for a pair of brothers who win the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year Award. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Two brothers in North Troy, Vermont are the winners of the 2012 Dairy Farm of the Year Award. Shabbat Family Farms is one of the larger dairy farms in the state. As Keith Silva reports, the farm's owners credit their employees for making their dream come true.
Brothers Reg and Mike Shabbat have dedicated their lives to being dairy farmers. Shabbat Family Farms in North Troy is one of the largest dairy operations in the state. And now the Shabbats can add another distinction, the 2012 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year.
I have to admit that secretly when I started farming 30 some odd years ago, 32 years ago, there was a part of me that was like, well, that'd be cool one day to be able to win that award. It just, you know, to be recognized as an operation who has been successful, and so it's meant a great deal to me personally, I guess.
It feels good. It feels like we're being recognized. You know, I thought we were just a farm and just operating, and we're making money and trying to make money, that is. Depending this year we're not, next year we will. That's what we've been for years. And you know, it feels good because apparently there was other farms that are running and we were chosen, so we must be doing something right.
There are 1,800 cows on this farm to match the 1,800 acres of cropland. The Shabbats employ 22 full-time workers, making them the largest employer in this small Northeast Kingdom town of around 600 residents. For Vermont, and for little North Troy, this farm is big business.
Started with 40 cows, and it was just myself and my wife and kids, and so I know what that's like, and this is a little bit different, but I still consider it a family atmosphere. I really envisioned maybe getting up to 60 cows one day, and that was as far as I thought I'd go. But after a couple of years, it didn't take me long to figure out that this was going to get very competitive. When you're managing an operation this size, you have to look at every opportunity to make it as efficient as you can. What you got to be careful about doing, though, is making sure that you're not taking the focus off the cows.
The Shabbats focus on what they do best: milk and manage cows. Like any successful business, they know they have to spend money to make money. When their milk hauler retired, they started trucking their own milk. One less out-of-pocket expense. A dairy farm this size generates a lot of, well, you know. So a few years ago, the Shabbats built a methane digester that turns manure into methane gas and the gas into electricity.
Right on the manger side where they come in, if we took a gate possibly and blocked that off so then they have no choice but to come in.
The Shabbats hold management meetings twice a month. The meetings keep things running smoothly and make sure that everybody has a voice in the farm's operation.
I've had people come to the first management meeting and they'll sit there like, wow, okay, so that's why we're doing the things that we're doing. And you know, it helps them out a great deal in understanding the decisions that we make. And some of the best ideas at the management meetings come from the people who are doing the work every single day. And so, you know, it's our job once we get those ideas to make sure that they're put into action. Okay, so is everybody in agreement?
For the Shabbats, the 2012 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year Award is an honor that they are proud to share with their employees.
I've been doing this for 30 years, so I reached a point in my life where I think I know the right way of doing it.
Paul Lavoie is the farm's herd manager.
Reg and Mike fully trust that I'm making the best decisions on the cow end of it. I trust Mike's making the best decisions on the feed and cropping end of it. And I trust Reg is making the best decisions on the financial end of it. So there's no second guessing going on there.
Melissa Hatch looks after the calves and their many needs and wants.
It's like having 100 kids. They all have a different personality, and as you can hear them, they want their food, they want their mom, they want milk.
What's it like to work here?
Where do I start? I don't know, it's not really a job. I don't really, it's more like a family. I don't see people like a coworker or like Reg and Mike. They're my boss, but I don't feel like that. I feel like they're more like my dad or my, like a close family.
Tim Phillips didn't grow up on a farm, but once he started working here in 1995, he knew he was home.
Started calving cows and whatnot. It was kind of neat to, to watch the generations grow. I calved this one in, a year and a half later, I'm watching her calve in. It's kind of a neat thing. At the end of the day, when you're done your day, like I feed cows, I drop a load of feed. I'm listening to all these headlocks, flat. I know all these cows are getting up to eat. There's a reward right there. It's fulfilling. It really is. Yeah.
I milk cows. Is that all I need to do?
The milking parlor is where Erica Amiot is most at home. Like her colleagues, Amiot works long hours, but working with the Shappets makes it worthwhile.
Right now we're probably milking 800 cows, and I work 12 hours a day, most days.
What's it like to work for Mike and Reg?
It's great. They're good people. They're good to work for.
There's some homegrown talent working at the farm as well. Reg's son, Nathan. He's not quite ready to take the reins from his uncle and his father, but he does see a bright future ahead.
It's definitely a more positive future for my generation than it was my father's and my uncles and even my grandfather's. And if it's something I decide to take over, yeah, definitely I'd love to. And I'm just kind of keeping an open mind to my future. So.
When it comes to costs, prices, and markets, Vermont dairy farmers have always had to deal with a certainly uncertain future. Mike and Reg Shappet don't put too much stock in worry. They've made a commitment to themselves, to their employees, and to Vermont, come what may.
Without a doubt, dairy farming in 2012 can be challenging, especially in the last 6 or 7 or 8, 10 years, with the highs and the lows as severe as they've been and how often they've happened. If you're going to get into business, I don't care which industry it's in, there's going to be challenges. And so as dairymen, we need to accept the fact that that's part of the nature of this industry, and just be able to make adjustments to deal with it. And it's important that we accept responsibility for the fact that we made the choice to get into this business, and that we have to deal with whatever challenges come along, and not to look elsewhere for those answers, to the federal government or to the state government or anything else. I mean, it's these are decisions that we have to make on our own as business people.
We built this place here in '94, 17 years ago, and it's been busy. Well, there's days it's like any job, you wonder why you're going to do it in the morning, but then there's other days you see when the crops are going in great and everybody's having a good time and everything's running fine. Those are the days you enjoy. You see see your bunks filling up, you see your corn growing, it feels good.
As long as the corn keeps growing and the cows need milking, you can bet that Shappet Family Farms, the 2012 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year, will be here to get the job done. In North Troy, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Across the Fence extends its congratulations to the Shappets on their selection as the 2012 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. We also want to give special thanks to Peggy Manahan of UVM Extension, who plays a key role in organizing the annual Farm of the Year program. Well, joining me now is Mark Canella. Mark is a farm business management specialist with UVM Extension, which, as I just mentioned, is one of the organizations involved in the Dairy Farm of the Year program. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So, from your experience, what makes the Shappet brothers and their farm stand out?
Well, clearly they're an exceptional farm. First of all, just to get nominated as the Dairy Farmer of the Year, just to be nominated alone, you have industry representatives and peer farmers that already set you out as someone that could be a role model for other farms to look to.
What are some of the things that you look for in a farm?
Well, in this case, there's a high level of management. It's clear this is a larger farm. They have a lot of animal numbers. They have a lot of staff. They have thousands of acres that they're managing. So the amount of logistics to bring that together and to keep things flowing smoothly, just from a physical perspective, is enormous. But the people perspective, I think, can't be downplayed in the situation. Managing that number of employees and having those people say that they love to work for their bosses and they feel like it's a family, I mean, that's something that really should be honored and really congratulated.
And the twice monthly meetings, I think, is pretty unique.
Yeah, setting aside time as a business manager to have a meeting with your staff, to explain decisions, to explain what happened previously and what's coming up, that's a sign of excellent management, and it's a sign of a business that's really thinking about what it can do on a regular basis to keep performing at a high level.
And it sounds like the jobs are pretty well sort of delegated as far as, you know, we heard the cow end of the business, the feed end of the business, and the financial end of the business. Is that pretty common on farms, or is this more of an exception? Well,
I think what's different about a farm of this size is they probably have the opportunity to specialize a bit. They have someone that can focus on herd care and someone that can focus on crops. I think a lot of the anxieties or the stress of a small farm and a large farm are the same in keeping animals comfortable and productive and getting in high quality crops. But they might have an advantage in that they can have people that can focus on a particular task. But the challenge is then being able to communicate amongst the team from one person who has some knowledge to the other people that need to execute down the line. And that takes a lot of organization to make sure that people are in sync.
And so how does this sort of larger dairy farm compare with an average dairy, which has, I guess, a size of about 130 cows versus over 800?
Yeah, I think they're milking over 800 and probably have upwards of 1,800 to 2,000 animals on the farm. It's larger in size, and a lot of times as a business management person, those averages are something that are created from looking at all the farms together. We look at profiles. There's a few dozen farms that are operating at that level in the state, milking, you know, upwards of 1,000 animals. We've got a large number of farms that are milking above your average of 130 in the 200 to 500 range, and we've got a lot of farms that are still operating under 100 cows. So each particular profile sort of has something special about them and special ways to make those businesses work. But at that level, there's a lot of logistics, a lot of things that need to be moved from place to place, and a lot of things that need to be organized that are a bit different than a single owner-operated farm with maybe 1 or 2 hired people. Because
as we heard in the video too, he said, well, we're not going to make money this year,
yeah.
but we'll make money next year. So I guess you have to really, you know, one of the things we learned from the Shappets is that you have to really keep an eye on what's happening and how you can react to it, because you can't control what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's key. He made a great comment there that, you know, the world outside that farm is much bigger, but it's really important to the success of that business. And you've got to have an outward perspective on what's happening outside, and you sometimes have to think down the road, because what's happening now maybe can't be changed, but you can position for how you'll come out of it in a year or 18 months.
So you're part of the Extension's Farm Viability Enhancement Program. What is that program?
Yeah, our Extension Farm Viability Program, it's a terrific program. We're really focused on one-on-one business planning services to farms. We serve farms all over the state, small farms, large farms, dairy farms like this, and diversified farms. And our real goal is to provide one-on-one consult advisement and to help business managers do the business planning and do the business analysis that helps them make those key decisions that help them achieve their goals. Sometimes it's financial goals, sometimes it's quality of life goals, and sometimes it's environmental goals or conservation goals. So we look to meet people where they're at. We do a lot of listening, and then we help bring some technical skills to the table to help them operationalize those ideas into real solid plans.
Are there farms that are operating without business plans?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's lots of farms without plans, or you know, what's even more common is folks have a piece of a plan in their head, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's the way that great business people operate. They have an idea and they run with it, and they've got the passion to make it happen. But what a full business plan does is it allows you to take Section A, Section B, Section C, put it together, and figure out if all those pieces actually work together, or if one of them needs to be adjusted to complement another part of the business. So very often it's taking all the pieces of the business into the plan that really is where we create a lot of value with a farm.
And things are always changing too, so you may have that idea in your head, but then something else shifts and you've got to make up for that.
Yeah, it's funny, we work with some farms in a really short-term basis where we might meet for 2 or 3 meetings and do a budget or do a financial statement for some things going on now. But sometimes we work with farms for 8 or 12 months on a business plan, and what we start off at the beginning of the process very often changes, and that's real-time business management, and we're glad that we've got a program that can work with farms, build a relationship, and then when things change, say, okay, let's modify the plan. You've got to modify your business. Let's move forward.
So how can people get more information about Extension's farm viability programs?
Yeah, we've got locations all over the state with team members. Our headquarters is in the Berlin office. I'm a primary contact, and Christy Sherlock is our person in the Berlin office. Folks can call, they can send emails, and they can also go to the Extension website and get routed to the farm viability program.
And just even ask questions if they've got them.
Sure. We actually probably have 2 to 3 visits with folks before we even would consider enrolling them or asking them to apply, getting a sense of what they want and making sure that we're the right fit for them.
All right, well, I want to thank you for coming on today and talking about that.
Great, thanks for having us.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.
For a video copy of today's